Now we're doing this live Q&A, so use hashtag NBA in the live chat, or you can super chat us. And if you're watching this on a later date, maybe you're not watching live with us, use hashtag NBA in the comment section, and maybe we'll do a trade mailbag or an NBA mailbag, and I'll answer all of your questions on the next show. Why not with the first question today? Asked, what do you think the Warriors draft a guard like Anthony Edwards or a wing like Deni Avdija? And then he goes on to ask, and go for a cheap center like Marc Gasol. They would do the same thing with Wiseman or as Onyeka Okongwu as a rookie. Listen, Anthony Edwards is super special. I think he is probably the best player in this draft, along with LaMelo Ball, but I don't think LaMelo Ball makes a lot of sense for the Warriors. I love the idea of Golden State drafting Anthony Edwards if they get that first overall pick, and then going for a big man like Marc Gasol. I think that's a very good option, but I think they could also just draft a big man. I like Onyeka Okongwu out of USC. I like James Wiseman out of Memphis. It all just depends on where they fall, whether they're number 1 or number 5. It just depends on where they are and what kind of position they'll want to draft. Rohit asks, what if we trade a Minnesota 2020 first-round pick, a Minnesota 2021 first-round pick, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins for George Hill and Giannis Antetokounmpo? Listen, you could trade your life savings to the Milwaukee Bucks, and it still would not be enough to get Giannis Antetokounmpo. I don't care what you traded. Giannis is not getting moved for anything. Now, he's a free agent in 2021, so if you want to wait till then, yes, maybe the Warriors can get him. But it doesn't matter what you do. You're not getting Giannis to the Warriors, especially not for Andrew Wiggins, who's been a bust, not for Draymond Green, who's really past his prime, not for a first-round pick, not for 2 first-round picks, not for anything. Listen, they're not going to be able to trade for Giannis. You just got to wait until he's a free agent in 2021. Let's go to King of 3 with this question. Can Dallas trade up for a top 5 pick? Dallas has 2 first-round picks. Or, excuse me, they have 2 draft picks this year. They've got their 18th overall pick, and they've got the Golden State Warriors' second-round pick. You definitely have to trade both of those. Other than that, the only thing that's going to net you a top 5 pick is Luka Doncic or Kristaps Porzingis. And the Dallas Mavericks aren't trading either of those guys. So, sorry to break it to you. There's no way they're going to be able to trade up for a top 5 pick. I appreciate the idea, and I definitely think the Mavs will look to move up. I just don't think they have the pieces to move into the top 5. That would take something insane. Ethan Turner asks, who is the best current Boston Celtic? He's going with Jaylen Brown. And listen, Jaylen Brown, second best Boston Celtic. But right now, they got Jayson Tatum there. And Jayson Tatum is amazing. I mean, Jayson Tatum has become one of the best scorers in the NBA. He can get it done around the rim. He can get it done from mid-range. He can get it done from the three-point arc. Wherever he is, Jayson Tatum can score. And now he's not a great defender. I get that. Jaylen Brown is definitely a better defender, 100%, but he's not as good as Jayson Tatum. It's just not the case. I think Jayson Tatum is better. I think he will be the best Celtic for a long time coming. They truly want to build around him. Clay asking another question about the Denver Nuggets. Is Michael Porter Jr. the missing piece for the Nuggets? You know what? Originally, I would have said no because I don't think he can stay healthy. But after watching him in the bubble, if he can stay healthy, I'm saying yes. I think Michael Porter Jr. is 100% that scoring wing that the Denver Nuggets desperately needed. You have Jamal Murray. You have Nikola Jokic. You have good young pieces like Gary Harris and Will Barton who are injured right now. But you don't have an elite wing. And if Michael Porter Jr. can develop into that Kevin Durant-style forward, yes, he's 110% the missing piece for the Denver Nuggets. I think Michael Porter Jr. is just an absolute stud, and I want him to stay healthy so bad. It's all about that back and what that back can do, because if it gets back to 100%, yes, he's the missing piece for the Denver Nuggets. Now, what I want you guys to do is predict something for me. Who will be the best player traded this offseason? Scroll down to the comments section and let me know down below. Make your predictions. I've done a few shows on guys like Aaron Gordon, Kevin Love, Chris Paul. That could all be moved this summer, but I want you guys to make your prediction. Who is the best player that will get traded this offseason? Now, maybe it's a Giannis Antetokounmpo trade like we were talking about earlier in the show. Probably not, and that's why it's probably safe to go out and buy his shirt right now. Chatsports.com/NBA shirt has all the best player and team shirts you can find, all shipping for free for a limited time only. You're not going to want to miss this deal, and you can only find it at chatsports.com/NBA shirt. Whoever your team is, whoever your favorite player is, go and check them out. Now, personally, my favorite team, and I hate to show my bias here, but we're from Dallas, Texas. We got to say it. It's Luka Doncic. And if you want that Luka Doncic shirt, chatsports.com/NBA shirt. Best place to go for all your Fanatics gear. Now, let's keep it rolling with our live Q&A and all of y'all's awesome questions. We're going to bring them up right here live on screen. Krishna says, which of the up-and-coming young defenders could be Defensive Player of the Year one day? Easy answer for me. Mikal Bridges of the Phoenix Suns. Mikal Bridges has shut down guys like TJ Warren in the bubble. He shut down guys like Luka Doncic in the bubble. He can shut down guys like Damian Lillard. He will 100% be in the running for Defensive Player of the Year for a long time. And if not, he'll at least make a all-defensive team one day. I love Mikal Bridges. I also think a guy like Lugan Dort, a good young rookie for the Oklahoma City Thunder, could make some sense. But Mikal Bridges is my easy pick right now. Let's go to Preto asking, can the Sixers trade for Lavine to be the third star next to Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid? Here's the thing, Preto. If you want to get Zach LaVine, you got to trade one of Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid. Because Zach LaVine is averaging about 25 points per game. Now, I don't think the Philadelphia 76ers would do that. I think Simmons and Embiid are both better overall players right now. But if you actually want to make it happen, you got to give up one of those guys. Your only other young pieces are guys like Matisse Thybulle. You got Shake Milton. You got Josh Richardson. None of those guys move the needle for the Chicago Bulls like Zach LaVine does. Let's go to Nicholas Martinez. If the Celtics come up short of the finals, will they let Gordon Hayward walk and go after a star big man? I think they will. Listen, I think the biggest thing they're missing right now is a big man. If they go up against the Philadelphia 76ers and they get bounced by Joel Embiid, you got to go for a big man. But I don't know who that star big man is that they would go after. Listen, Gordon Hayward has been exceptional in the bubble. He has finally kind of started to turn it around and finally start to get back to his normal healthy self that we saw in Utah. So I don't think Gordon Hayward wants to leave. I don't even think Boston wants to let him walk right now. But if the Boston Celtics get bounced in the first round by a guy like Joel Embiid, yeah, I think they could definitely go after a big man. Now, Nicholas Martinez's favorite team is probably the Boston Celtics based on that question. So let me know who your favorite team is, and let me know if they're in the NBA playoffs. If they are, type Y for yes. If they're not, type in for no. And really, it's a two-part question. Number one, you got to let me know who your team is. And number two, you got to let me know if they're in the NBA playoffs. And if they are, you're going to want to subscribe to Chat Sports. And if they're not, you're going to want to subscribe to Chat Sports because we got NBA draft coverage. We got the NBA playoffs. We've got NBA free agency. All of it is right here on Chat Sports. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Make sure your notifications are on too, because when we go live every single Friday, the best way to know that is with your notifications on. And right now, I know that there's not a lot of you with them on. So go ahead, scroll down, and hit that bell. It's real obvious. It's right there. It looks like the Philadelphia 76ers logo. Just hit the bell, turn it on, get your notifications on for Chat Sports. Let's go to loyalty. Greek Freak to the Golden State Warriors or Karl-Anthony Towns to the Portland Trailblazers. Which is more realistic? Wow. I never thought I would have seen either of those names up there for either of those teams. Towns to the Blazers is interesting, but I don't think it makes any sense. The Blazers have Jusuf Nurkic. They have Hassan Whiteside. There's no reason that he would go to Portland. There's no reason, really, that Minnesota would trade him either. They just got D'Angelo Russell. They're looking to win with good young pieces like Karl-Anthony Towns and like D'Angelo Russell. The only way they're going to do that is if they keep them on the team. However, it's probably more realistic than Giannis Antetokounmpo to the Warriors because he ain't going to the Warriors. Sorry to break it to you. Let's go to Moritz Gaming. Can TJ Warren be the bubble MVP? 100% he could be. He's averaging 31 points per game and shooting over 52% from three. However, there's two guys above him on the list. Damian Lillard and Devin Booker. Devin Booker took his team to 8-0, putting up 35 points per game. Damian Lillard, on the other hand, took his team to the NBA playoffs, the NBA play-in tournament, and is averaging 37 points per game. TJ Warren is probably third on that bubble MVP list, but Damian Lillard and Devin Booker both have that title above him right now. BlueBang718. This guy, I think you're a new watcher. I haven't seen you on the channel yet, so welcome aboard. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. He asks, is Dennis Smith Jr. officially a bust? This hurts my heart because I am a huge Dennis Smith Jr. fan. I wanted him to be so good coming out of NC State, and the first year with the Dallas Mavericks, he was. He was a very, very good player. He made the NBA All-Rookie team. I'm not going to say he's a bust right now because he's with the New York Knicks, and he's getting screwed over with the Knicks because they have Frank Ntilikina, they have Elfrid Payton. He's not getting a true chance to shine. I think if he got moved to a different team where he could be the point guard, he could be get a chance to really prove himself as that first-round pick that he was. just a few years ago. So I'm not ready to say he's a bust, but it ain't looking great for him right now. Clay Putoff says, how many MVPs will Luka have when he retires? Ooh, it's a loaded question. I think he at least wins one. I will almost guarantee that he at least wins one in his career. I think max he wins two. I don't think he's going to win more than two because you have so many good young players in the NBA right now. I'm going to stick with one for now, and that's more than enough. Because remember, the best player in franchise history, Dirk Nowitzki, he only has one MVP, and that was more than enough for Mavs fans, I'll tell you what. Let's go to Brian with this question. Which player should the Knicks trade for this offseason realistically? So I'm glad you put that in there because a lot of people would say, oh, trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo, trade for Joel Embiid. No, you got to be realistic. You got to go out and get a player that you can actually trade for. And one guy that makes sense is Chris Paul. I know it hurts to say, and I know really the Knicks probably don't even have anything the Thunder want right now, but you need a veteran to lead your young guys. You have R.J. Barrett. You have Kevin Knox. You have Mitchell Robinson. All good young pieces. There's no veteran leaders with the Knicks. And Chris Paul could immediately step in and be that veteran leader. I just don't think he's going to be able to do it. I don't think the Knicks are going to be able to pull it off.